See it. Hopefully y'all can see it. Hey y'all, hey. Hello, hello. Hopefully y'all can see me okay. Hey. How are you? How are we doing? How are we doing? I'm going to ask for y'all to excuse me. My glasses do not at all match this hairstyle. So I'm struggling to see. But we're going with it. We're coming with it. It's Monday. It's MLK Day. It's such a blessing for us to be here and contribute to his legacy, actually live what life is like on this side of things versus during his journey. So happy MLK Day to everybody. And that's why I'm here, just to encourage you guys. It's time for us to use our voice. He used his voice in a way that definitely impacts lives long term. So because of that, we should all try to contribute to his legacy. So I'm here to touch briefly on that and just how reflecting on his legacy has impacted me today. Today has been a really studious day for me. It's been a studious day for me. If you are new to me, let me say this. If you're new to me, I'm Cornisha. I'm an entrepreneurship coach, and I coach women and men through entrepreneurship, starting a business, and using that skill set to actually help transform their lives personally and professionally. Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, but the skill set alone can help you maneuver through corporate America, life. It can help you troubleshoot life. It can help you in your pace as far as troubleshooting life. You know how it is. Sometimes we will endure life. We go through certain things and we just go with the motions as if the problem isn't still there waiting on us to find a solution. So, I could talk about that all day. But literally, I'm sorry, y'all. My eyelashes are wet. I kind of just got my face together. So I'm not coming on here looking raggedy because today has been a studious day for me. It's been so studious. My desk is a hot mess, so I'm not going to show y'all that. But that's because I have notes everywhere. I've just been intentional about my character, intentional about my vision, intentional about my business, intentional about my influence. And like I say, with today being MLK Day, I just wanted to honor his history, honor his legacy, and sit still with his impact. Sit still with that and think of ways that I can really use that to be influential in my business, in being a sister, being a daughter. Like, life's a whirlwind. And it's up to us to support ourselves in navigating life. And the only way we can support ourselves is by actually embracing the lessons of all the mess that life will deal us. We go through scheduling issues, parenting issues, family issues. Of course, we have our relationships, intimate relationships. We go through issues with those. Hello, how are you guys? So, in everything we endure in life, I don't know, just today was a day that kind of stopped me in my tracks. I wasn't so quick to execute the job, execute the business. Hi, how are you guys? I wasn't so quick to actually execute because history is what makes us. History is part of us, and actually embracing his legacy, thinking about if he was here today, would he be proud of us? Would he be proud of our intentions? Would he be proud of our influence? Would he be proud of how we support one another? Would he be proud of how we speak to one another? It's important to just try different. It's important to be different, and it's important to be intentional about your influence, because whether we know it or not, we all influence one another. We all impact one another, and we all have a way of leaving something with one another. So we have to be intentional about what we leave behind. I always say, as I meet new people, as I learn, as I grow, I definitely want them to consider me to be a human. I don't want to come across as that girl that thinks she know it all. I'm no expert by far. I make that clear. I'm no expert by far, but I have proven strategies that are transformational, and I'm always willing to share that. I'm always going to share that. I'm always going to show up and be a demonstration of how entrepreneurship can change the game for all of us. I have to be that. I have to do that. And just being able to live today as an entrepreneur who works from home and who's just intentional about creating the life that I want, the life I desire, and the life that I deserve. And I just wanted to honor his legacy. I just wanted to have a conversation to where we all can sit and think, if he was here, would he be proud? If he was here, would he be content with our contribution? Will he be content with what I'm doing? Will he be content with what you're doing? And it's important for us to think about things like that, because that's what will help us in navigating life and in recalibrating in life, and knowing that I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes, but I have to learn and embrace those lessons in order for me to actually continue on this journey, because it's a marathon. It's no race. It's no race. So, in all of that, now that I've gotten that out the way, like I say, today has been a day of me being just studious. I've been perfecting my craft. I've been learning new things. I've purchased some courses. Of course, I've worked a little bit, but in that, I honestly am not in a position to have a complex conversation, to say the least. I am not. I don't want to under deliver in any topic that I bring to you guys. You guys know we've talked about entrepreneurship. We've talked about mission and purpose. We've talked about launching the business, mindset mastery, preparing your character, sacrificing a season. I've been here with you guys. Y'all have been rocking with me since October. Let's throw that out there. Y'all have been with me since October. So with that being said, we've had some conversations. So in our conversations, as you guys know, I like to give value, I like to give information, and I like to leave you guys with action items so that you can actually apply the information and allow it to transform your lives like it did myself, my clients, my family, all of that. So in that, tonight's topic is not too complex. It's actually a topic that I've had the notes ready for at least a couple weeks. The notes have been ready since actually last year. However, in me learning, growing, executing, I try to prioritize what I bring to you guys. I know for sure everybody's either interested in entrepreneurship or knows somebody who's interested. So because of that, I like to share the information just so we are able to have a conversation about it. Also, I like to share personal development tips that can help us navigate life, of course, personally. And a lot of times they help us professionally as well. But because like I say, I'm at a place, I took in so much information today that I actually need to sit with it and process it. So the topic I'm going to give you guys is something that's been sitting, but as I endure life, as I endure entrepreneurship, I'm still a human, I'm still a sister, I'm an aunt, I'm a big sister. So in all of my roles, I endure life. My life hasn't stopped just because I'm an entrepreneur. So as I endure life, I realize sometimes we can get comfortable. We can get comfortable in our character. We can get comfortable in how we interact with the folks that we feel like we got the right to be who we are to. And that's a problem. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's a whole problem. And I'm frustrated with it. I'm passionate about it because this topic, I have clients who bring this to me. How do I navigate this? How do I navigate that? How do I deal with this negative friend circle or the lack of support here? And honestly, a lot of it is just simply we're not relating to one another. We're not. We build these walls based on us trying to be vulnerable in our character, and we fall short in remaining vulnerable because somebody misused our vulnerability. They didn't talk to us in the way that we deserved. They didn't honor us in the way that we deserved. So because of that, we choose to alter our character. We choose to alter our character. No, I'm not going to be the nice girl because you're not going to play me no more. Oh no, I'm not going to tolerate that in a relationship because you won't do that to me again. Y'all know how we are. We set our standards. The moment somebody does something to us one time, we're like, okay, no, you can't do that to me again. We all say, oh, you won't get that version of me again. So because of that, we develop certain characteristics only as defense mechanisms. However, in life, in personal development, in professionalism, because for our working folks, in professionalism, you can't uphold this entitled character when, first, that's not what you're going to tolerate for yourself. That's not what you're going to tolerate. They say, the Bible says it itself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as God loves you. So because of that, we walking around giving this mediocre character, treating one another in mediocre ways, feeling entitled. Oh, I can do that. No, you can't. No, you can't. And it's time for us to assess our character. I've talked and I haven't pulled up the notes yet, but I'm so passionate about this because if you think about it, our character or the lack of is a lot of times why we have family members that sit on their talent. Simply because we're not in a place to hold the conversation on their level. Let's call it what it is. We have friend circles that ultimately diminish us, that ultimately are competitive simply because they don't have the courage to tap into what we're trying to embrace. So because of that, if we deal with that personally, you're bound to deal with it professionally. We all know bare minimum doesn't work anymore. So when you're in the workplace and you're only meeting your job expectations, your job duties, your job requirements, when you're in the workplace and you're only meeting those expectations and not exceeding those, don't question why, because we get to a place where we feel entitled. We get to a place where we feel like, okay, well, I do this, I do that. That should be enough. No, it's not. No, it's not. And we have to assess our character. We have to see if we're willing to go all in. We have to assess, am I really willing to go all in and put it all on the line to be the mother I want to be the father I want to be that sister I want to be? We're around here doing and being things that we're not even intentionally investing into. We're just being. Oh, well, I feel like this, so I'm going to be this today. We operate out of our emotions and don't realize how much it affects our character permanently and how much it influences the folks around us. Because whether we say it or don't say it, we all have influence over one another. And whether we acknowledge it or don't, we all are well aware of our influence. We're well aware. We're well aware. You cannot convince me otherwise that we are not, if you're malicious to somebody, that you did that unintentionally. Sometimes we do. We all know we have those one-off situations where we may say too much or do too much, and it's unknowingly. So for the one-offs, I understand that. That's not what I'm speaking to. But the malicious, jealous, envious folks that are always running their mouths and deterring others, those are the ones that actually influence the folks who are silent. We all have voices. We all have voices and skill sets. Nobody can convince me otherwise. Nobody. We all have voices. We all have skill sets. However, we all aren't confident, or we all don't have the courage to actually step out and go all in, step out on faith in what we have, simply because we don't create the environments for one another to be honest, to be vulnerable. We don't actually honor the character that's required for them to even share with us. Like for me to call, I see KK, a business coach on here. Hey girl. Let's say I needed advice and I call KK and I'm like, hey, I need this, I need that. She's more than willing to create an environment for me to be honest, to be vulnerable, and to share what's really going on. She's going to hold me accountable to my part in it, and she's going to talk me through how to maneuver. And not always do we share our information, our reality, just to get advice. However, the point of that is that as a coach, she intentionally provides an environment for us all to feel safe. So as a human, we have to be intentional about providing environments for us all to feel safe, for us all to feel heard, for us all, even if we don't feel heard, we can raise our hand comfortably. We can raise our hand confidently, and we can raise our hand in knowing she's not going to emasculate him, and he's not going to diminish her as a woman. And it's time for us to be intentional about our character. That's the point of all of this. Like I say, as today being, of course, MLK Day, is such a blessing to even be an entrepreneur, a young Black entrepreneur in this area. Let's just call it what it is. It's a whole blessing. It's a whole blessing. However, that doesn't negate the fact that it's so much work to be done. So much work to be done. And it all starts with our character. It all starts with our character. In being studious today, I was definitely intentional about just taking in new knowledge. I'm a coach, so as being a coach, I have to seek counsel very often, and I have to further my education because I'm no expert. I just share what I know that is conducive to navigating life. That's it. However, we got to be intentional about having the proper character that's required as a friend, as a daughter, as a brother, as a cousin, as a mother. It's time. It's time. When I talk entrepreneurship, when I talk personal development, I'm not talking this just to talk it. I'm talking it because first I want to create the environment. And second, it's time for change. It's time for change. And I definitely take responsibility in not voicing the fact that it's time for change, because it is. It's heartbreaking to... It's a catch-22 to be where I am. It's a catch-22. I'm able to hear, keep my ear to the streets. I'm able to hear the common problems of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. I'm able to hear those, sit with those, and help troubleshoot a solution because it's needed. However, it's a huge gap. It's a huge gap between aspiring entrepreneurs and straight working class folk. It's a huge pillar of people who write off entrepreneurship. Some say they don't have the mental capacity, and that's understandable. I know for sure I don't have the mental capacity for a lot of things, so I'm not discrediting that. However, entrepreneurship is a solution to a lot of problems. It's a solution to a lot of problems. If you're struggling with discipline, entrepreneurship will strengthen you in that. If you're struggling with being a leader, entrepreneurship will strengthen you in that. If you're struggling with having high quality character or being intentional, setting a goal, creating a vision, entrepreneurship is a skill set. It's a skill set. But a lot of our peers, our family, our friends, they can't even reach the execution part because they don't have support, they don't have environment, and every day they have to deal with people with whack character. Excuse my French, but I'm going to call it what it is, whack character. It's time for us to assess our character. I still haven't pulled up my notes. I'm sorry, y'all. But like I say, this is a topic I can go on all day about. I'm so passionate about it. I'm not even supposed to be an entrepreneur based on my story. I can say that I've been misused. I've been not physically abused, mentally abused in the workplace, outside of the workplace. I've been through things that will definitely set me apart as being somebody who needs to sit down somewhere. But honestly, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. So the same folks that are dealing with anxiety, the same folks that are dealing with inadequacy, the same folks that are dealing with insecurity, been there, done that, you can still make it. Been there, done that, you can still make it. And I say it smiling, some days I may say it crying, but at the end of the day, it's up to us to be intentional. That's the message. I can literally wrap it up there and say the end. I'm not going to, don't worry, but that's the message. It's up to us to be intentional. I want to be a leader. But I can't hold myself accountable. That's backwards. However, if we assess our character and strengthen our lack, we'll actually get there. But we can't. We don't have support. We not right, so our circle probably not right. Excuse my French, but it is what it is. Like, it's time for us to be intentional. We all want luxury. We all want to travel. We all want the hair, the nails, the this, the that, the external stuff. However, it takes character to get it. Do you think Will Smith got where he was simply because he had it like that? Because that's how we act. We act like, oh, I qualify for this because of what I've been through. No, you qualify for the life that you execute and work towards regardless of what you've gone through. Regardless. Nobody's entitled to anything. Nobody's required to put up with anything. So because of that, the only way we get anything in this fast-paced life is to qualify for it. Do you qualify? Your character is how you'll find out. Your character. A lot of times we may lack the execution. Like I say, in entrepreneurship and even in corporate America, when I was in management, how we assess whether we fire or hire somebody is based on three things. You have skill, will, and knowledge. You have to have the skill to actually perform the job. If you don't have that skill, that's something that we can sharpen, so that's okay. Let's say you have will. You have to have the will to do the job and to learn and to actually strengthen your skill set. Without that will, we can't do nothing with you. You're gone. You lack will, you're gone. If you lack knowledge, we could teach you. We have curriculum. We have an operations manual. We can teach you. We can teach you if you lack knowledge. We can teach you if you lack skill. If you lack will, you're subjecting yourself to your reality. If you lack the will to grow in your character, you're subjecting yourself to your reality. Do you want to continue to make the money you make and carry the expenses you carry. Because a lot of times we have a boatload of expenses and we making good money, but our expenses matching the money we making, so we not keeping nothing. But we want luxury, but we want to travel. It's time to be intentional in our character. That's the solution. That's the solution. And a lot of times, the real deficiency comes when we don't know how to develop our character. That's where the deficiency lies. When we are not so sure on how to develop our character. Okay, well, I know I'm impatient. How do I grow in that? I know I deal with lust. How do I grow in that? I know I deal with gossip and I run my mouth a little too much. How do I grow in that? How do I disregard and navigate my way into better? How do I do it? Assess your character. That's number one. That's number one. You have to assess your character. Number two, after you assess your character, you're going to realize what you lack. This is going to sound really elementary. Disclaimer. It's going to sound really elementary. However, define the thing that you lack. Today, I don't even know where it's in there on my fireplace. Today, I looked up the word humility. I did. Like I say, I was a student today. So I looked up the word humility, and primarily humility is the durability to maintain your spirit, regardless of what happens to you. So if you're nice, you're going to be nice regardless of how nasty they are to you. If you're a faithful person, you're going to be faithful regardless of what happens to you. If you are a person of peace, you're going to maintain your peace regardless of how bad it storms outside. So with that being said, it's so important for us to actually define what we lack. Define it. Like I say, I realized deficiencies in my character today. I'm not going to lie. Anything I say to y'all, I literally have to go back and check myself. Like, I want to make sure I practice what I preach. I want to make sure I'm intentional about implementing, executing, and providing a testimonial for everything I say, because that's important. That's the only way I'll build trust as an entrepreneur. So with that being said, I definitely grow, learn, I tap into and embrace personal development often. So I defined the word humility and I learned a lot. I learned that I still have room to grow. I'm not perfect. So as we want to develop our character, again, define who you are and who you want to be. Define who you are and who you want to be. Assess what you lack in order to be that. You got to qualify for this. You got to qualify. You want to be a leader, you got to qualify. So in qualifying yourself, you got to assess your lack. After you assess your lack, define it. Define it. Okay, I lack patience. What's patience? I lack humility. What's that? I lack integrity. What's that? Define it. Look it up. It may sound elementary, but if it provided a revelation to me, I know it can provide revelations to anybody who's willing to receive one. So with that being said, define what it is that you lack. Then do your research. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Like I say, in life, skill, will, and knowledge. You can strengthen that skill. You can get the knowledge, but you got to have the will. You got to want it. As they say, you got to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. You're going to miss it. You got to be able to envision it. And you got to be able to isolate and keep your mouth closed when you envision it, because that vision is yours. Not everybody sees it. Not everybody knows the blueprint. That's why when we tell people our plans, they get scared. Like, you can't do that. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I not only know how to do it, I know how I'm going to do it, how long it's going to take to do it, where I'm going to go when I get there to do it. Like, it's a thing. We know this. So it's important for us to educate ourselves. And I know it can be and intimidating process. Let's call it what it is. And like I say, that's why I do this, to create environments to where we could just be honest, to create an environment to where we can just think. Just think. Life has endless responsibilities. Those bills gonna hit on the first. That oil change is coming every 3 months. The tires, seasonally. So because of that, life's going to hit. It's going to hit. Entrepreneurship is a skill set that can set you up for being structured regardless of which way life hits you. If you lose a family member, that's tough. That's tough. We all have been there. That's tough. Lose a family member. That job is going to give you a couple days. I'm just going to call it what it is. They're going to give you a couple days. And after that, they're going to expect you to perform. And in the event that you don't, what happens? Okay. So because of that, entrepreneurship is a skill set that can provide us structure and leverage so that when life hits us at any angle, we have leverage to take a step back and deal with life. I lost a family member. I got a couple weeks off. I lost 3 family members in a 3-month time span. And in that time, for funeral after funeral, I got a couple weeks off. My workload increased. That shows how much they cared. Just saying. Just saying. So because of that, in the event that we actually embrace entrepreneurship, in the event that we sit down with our resume, I was coaching a client today. This typically I don't share, but the client I was coaching, I know for sure she wouldn't mind. So with that being said, we all, action step for everybody. Sit down with your resume. Sit down with your resume. I'm sure each individual job taught you at least 3 skills. 3, whether it was organizing, computer skills, it was technology, electronics, it could be whatever. But they taught you something. So because of that, if you genuinely assess everything you learned at all the different jobs, you can't convince me you don't have a skill set that can take you where you want to go in entrepreneurship. So who the problem? I'm just going to call it what it is, y'all. I'm only going to say what needs to be said. As I'm going to wrap it up. I haven't even touched my notes. Again, that's how passionate I am about the topic. We have to assess our character. We have to be intentional about who we are as parents, as friends, as colleagues, as mentors, mentees. We got to be intentional. We have to be intentional. And a lot of the times we're not intentional because we're not tapped into who we are. We're not tapped into our character. We're not tapped into our purpose. I'm sorry. I hope y'all can hear me. My phone is dying, but I still got time. So I hope y'all can hear me, okay? We got to be intentional. We have to be intentional about our character. A lot of times we maneuver through life. Life happens to us. We get exhausted. Our anxiety kicks in. Our depression kicks in. And instead of us having just a couple problems, now we got a boatload. That's going to take a couple months to maneuver through. So because of that, use something to provide yourself leverage. If entrepreneurship is not your way, chew the meat, spit out the bones. If entrepreneurship is not your way, chew the meat and spit out the bones. Stay at your job. Make sure you get those benefits. Make sure you negotiate your salary and enjoy your life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to go to entrepreneurship. But if you know for sure you're sitting on a skill, if you know for sure you're sitting on something that you can turn on a video just like me and easily teach without looking at those notes, because I've scrolled, but I still haven't touched the notes. Because that's how passionate I am about this. We have to be intentional. We all want a certain lifestyle. We all want the external glory. We want the external glory like the hair, the nails, the makeup, the this, the that, the third. We all want it. We want the travel, the car, the house, the family. We want it. You got to work for it. You got to work for it and you have to qualify. Now what? Now what? Now what? It's plan and execute. That's what. Now what? It's plan and execute. That's it. And if I can do it, I say this all the time. If I can do it, I do not have children. If I can do it, any parent can do it. Let's just say that. If I can do it, any parent. If y'all see my, I'm going to keep my mouth closed. I don't think y'all see it. I had to do a real hardcore setup because my phone was dying, but I didn't want to play y'all. But we got to be intentional. We got to be intentional. And a lot of our deficiencies start with our character. It does. If you lack goal setting, it's probably because you don't have vision, probably because there's an inadequacy, because there's an insecurity, because there's some type of situation that wasn't resolved. There's something going on that you didn't give sound to. You have to give sound to it and release it so that you can make room for the characteristics that's required for an entrepreneur, for a mother, for a husband, for a wife, for a father, daughter, son. Like, it's required. It's a qualification. That's what it is. It's a qualification. It's a qualification. So we have to be intentional about making sure we qualify for the things we want. And I'm preaching to the choir. For anybody who feel like, oh, how she gonna tell? Who is she to listen? Anything I say, I speak from experience. And I was studious today simply because I'm no expert. I'm not perfect. I still have areas of opportunity. I still need to grow and develop in areas. So because of that, I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. But what I'm intentionally doing is trying to bring awareness to interrupt bad patterns of the old versions of all of us, including you, including me, our people, our friends, our family, our parents, all that. It's time out. I want better. And sorry that I want better for everybody, but it ain't gonna change. Excuse my French. For my English teachers, I'm sorry, y'all. That's my character. That's that personality. I'm a human now. But seriously, in creating these environments of having an honest conversation, it requires this. Who am I to sit up and tell y'all, you need to do this, you need to do that. Okay, here's how, but go do it. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. I do it. I tell y'all how to do it. Then I go back and do it again. Then I tell y'all how it benefited me, the pros and cons, and what to do next. It's an all-inclusive thing. However, if it was more, it's about us assessing what we needed out of life and being that. I needed a father. Let me be that father. I needed my mother. Let me be that mother. I needed my sister. I still need her. Ugh. I needed my sister and I still need her. But even in that, like, it's up to us to be intentional. In needing my sister, I make sure I show up and show out when she need me because, I need her still sometimes. So it's about us being intentional, about knowing who we want to be, giving ourselves permission to be that, honoring the fact that whoever we desire to be is our birthright. We didn't ask to be here. We didn't ask to be here. It's our birthright. We owe nobody nothing. And I know for sure I come from a supportive family. So because of that, it's up there for all of us. I want it for all of us and they want it for all of us too. So because of that, I want that for everybody. I want that for everybody. Real quick and I'm done. Character is important. Character is important. I say it's important because as we grow in life, I have friends, I have family, and of course the friends of the family. So in just socializing, networking, learning and growing and meeting new people, I realize how different people can be. Like, we all are different and we all get stuck in semantics and protocol when we fail to realize that we all are different and we all are entitled to possessing our own swag to our character. However, it's important for all of our character to align. It's important for the foundation of everybody's character to be in alignment. I can have an outgoing personality as long as I have integrity. I can be a leader as long as I have integrity. I can be quiet, be shy, as long as I don't diminish my voice. It's up to us to be intentional about our character. And as we navigate life through the different caveats and nuances and one-off situations that typically happen, throw us off and force us to recalibrate. Because we all know something always going to happen, and it's going to affect your fitness journey. It's going to affect how you eat. It's going to affect how you sleep. It's going to affect how you deal with people, how you talk to your friends. Like, it's going to affect you. So because of that, being intentional about your character will give you permission and recalibrating every time something happens to you, because life is going to happen to you. So I say all of that to say it's up to us to be intentional. It's up to us to embrace the fact that we are not who we desire to be. It's okay. Provide yourself a little grace. Plan and execute. It's okay. Provide yourself some grace. Plan, then execute. You guys are worth it. I'm worth it. We're worth it. And based on history, based on the fact that today is MLK Day, it's important for us to be intentional about honoring the voice that he no longer has. And I'm not up here trying to preach. I'm not. But some things I'm passionate about. And what I'm passionate about, I could talk about all day. And I wasn't the type to embrace history. I was always a nerd. Now, I'll say that. I was always a nerd. I was always wanting to study, or I was valedictorian. So I got different things that qualify me as a nerd. However, I wasn't into history. I wasn't. I feel like, what's the point of talking about it? Because it has nothing to do with where I'm going. However, history has everything to do with where we're going. It has everything to do with who we are, why we are who we are, and it helps us in navigating the glow up, navigating the growth. It helps us in that because we understand why we are the way we are. I understand. Let me watch my mouth. I understand that I'm a woman that will go all in on fulfilling every single responsibility tirelessly, because that's my responsibility. Why? Because I come from a line of those. Let's just call it what it is. In my family, as women, we step. If you have a situation, what can I do to help you? We are a set of people that love to pour into people. However, some of us have suffered from pouring into others a little more than we pour into ourselves. And I had to watch my mouth in that, but I had to be honest. So in that, it's about us assessing our character, knowing why we are the way we are, knowing that it's not nobody's fault, knowing that we're not blaming our family. We love our family. We support our family. We embrace our family. So it's not to do that, but it's to show you guys, if I can come up here and I can do this, I can bring awareness to some topics, I can create an environment, I can self-reflect while I do it, because that was just not easy. I lost some viewers, and I think some of them could have been family. So I really hope that I hope I watched my mouth in the way that I intended to. However, it's important for us to be honest. And sometimes it's uncomfortable to interrupt the bad patterns. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. It makes you frustrated because you realize I was unintentional about being who I'm supposed to be. And it makes me angry because I'm trying to be different. But we have to commit to the process. You have to commit to being different. You have to commit to the vision, commit to the purpose, commit to the mission, and watch it work. That's it. Watch it work. So with that being said, I hope this resonated with some of you guys. I will, of course, save this. I encourage everybody, assess character. And if you're struggling with assessing your character, like I say, action step for everybody. Pull up that resume. Pull up that resume. Even if you worked the job 2 weeks and they only showed you how not to be, they taught you something. So because of that, you have a skill set you can share. You have a skill set you can teach. You are valuable. You bring things to the table. You are the table. And it's up to us to honor that. It's up to us to be intentional about embracing that and affirming that for ourselves every single day. If I can do it, any man can do it, any woman can do it, any parent can do it. And that's that on that, okay? So with that being said, it is what time? 8:19. I gave y'all almost an hour. It's time for me to take my dog out. He ain't been out since 3 o'clock. I'm sorry, y'all, but I gotta go. I hope this resonated with somebody. I hope it was helpful to somebody. I pray that it provide reassurance, clarity, and support to whoever needs it, because entrepreneurship is a skill set. It's leveraging, and it can help you transform your life. It can help you strategize your way into where you want to be, but you have to submit to the process, and you have to assess your character in order for you to grow. So as uncomfortable as it is, uncomfortable as it's gonna be, I encourage you guys to do it. I hope my example was something that you guys can refer to so that you can do it as often as possible. You can refer to it as often as possible, because life happens to everybody. It's just some of us actually honor that. You got the real and the raw. The real ones, they gonna call it what it is, but the raw ones, we gonna say what gotta be said and not think twice. May not feel so bad, may feel bad about the delivery, but I mean, it had to be said. So it's up to us to be intentional about creating conversations, creating environments, and assessing our character, because that's the vehicle to our growth. Now, entrepreneurship is the vehicle to our lifestyle, so embrace it. As I always say, I am Cornisha. I'm your entrepreneurship coach. I do this for y'all. I do it for me. I do it for us. This is an us thing until the end of time at this point. I'm committed, and I definitely hope to see more of you guys join me on this entrepreneurship journey. I love you, and until next time, I am out. Good night. Good night. Good night.